row your... One's a former NFL star turned esports coach.
But I was getting the stink eye from my wife. She's like, what you doing? I'm like, nothing.
And one's a dad who can't stop playing Rocket League.
These kids these days, they're like, blah, 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 blah. We're used to jump and run.
Together, they welcome you to Ahman Green's Gamers Lounge.
Welcome to Ahman Green's Gamers Lounge. I'm your host, Ahman Green. Hey guys, I'm gonna get this thing right eventually. You know what happened was I forgot to hit the local recording for Jeremy to do our clips. I'm like, God damn it! I went in there and then I hit the button. I was like, ain't this a bot? God bless America. I'm like, God dang it! I did it again. I'm like, oh, Jeremy, he's gonna beat me up. He's gonna get me into if he could, he'll take me into Street Fighter and beat me down for that one. Like, it's the third week in a row. I forgot. I'm like, come on, hey G, you better than that, man. You know better. God bless. What's up, guys?
God bless America.
God bless America. How you guys doing, John? Rico the Rookie, what's good with you?
Just hanging out, man. Met John
out.
face to face for the first time last week. It was awesome. Wish I could have talked to him longer, but he was doing some things. He had some things he had to take care of. So he was working harder than I was. But we're just getting some stuff done. But just hanging out. Went to a pumpkin patch yesterday. Shout out to Vala's pumpkin patch.
That's fun.
So went out there. Forgot how large and hilly it is. So I'm dragging the wagon with the two kids in the back. Got my leg workout for the day yesterday. Nice. So we're good. Got me a caramel apple and some cider.
Did you bob for it? Did you get in the water?
We bought
apple cider donuts.
Ooh,
yes, I actually got those too. So that was actually like
delicious.
The first time I've had an apple cider donut, and let me tell you what, that was a game changer.
That sounds delicious.
Oh yeah,
apple
it was
cider
fantastic.
Donut. You had me at donut. That's what.
You had me the last word.
The last word you had me when you said apple cider. I'm thinking you're just gonna say the drink. When you said donut, Oh, you bought that life, John Rico. Ooh. Oh, man. So real quick, if you're first time into the show, this is where we talk about a little bit of everything in the video game space. So we're talking about game releases. We're going to have a fun conversation of this or that. So we choose between, and it's Halloween time. So some of the craziest fun horror games or situational things in a horror game that you might have to go through if you're playing the game. Then we're going to talk about stories around the business, around the industry going on. A lot of stuff going on with Spider-Man too. Some good, some a little borderline, I don't know, but maybe PC or anything like that. And some other fun conversation about Ahsoka. Part 4, Fallen Jedi, is getting good. You should have finished it by now. For guys that are hardcore like myself, Rico the Rookie, I'm pretty sure you finished it already. And John, I know you've been working. I don't know if you've been working. Finished all the episodes of Ahsoka, but it is getting good. A lot of lightsaber fights going on. Just looks like it should be on the big screen, but it's on the small screen in my living room or in my bedroom checking it out. So that's what we do. We talk about geek stuff. So I'm a geek. This guy to my right is a geek. The guy below me is a geek. We probably don't look like geeks, but we are. Everybody says, "Oh, geeks this, that." We all here. You just don't know until you get that head nod. And you'd be like, what platform you on? You say Xbox, PlayStation, PC. Boom, credit. Boom, straight credit right there. You're like, on them, all of them. Like, I'm on all of them. I'm on all of them. Back up. So we got you two, like you said, y'all met for the first time this weekend in the Vanny Center, where we had the Wisconsin ladies playing the Husker ladies in volleyball, balling out one hell of a series. It went all 5, didn't it? Like 5 sets, and I haven't seen that. Right, I haven't seen that. And I'll say now I have, but hadn't seen it before. But I would, probably in person. But by the time I text all y'all say it was standing room only, and we were like, we'll watch it from the house. But it was still good. I mean, I understand. Like you mentioned, it was electric in the house there, so I know that part was fun.
I think obviously Rico and I were there too, and it was amazing. They set a Devaney Center record with 9,100 fans. It was packed. It was such a great atmosphere for the sport. And Ahman, the TV numbers are out. It's the most watched Big Ten Network volleyball match in the history of the of the and I just was crunching some numbers yesterday, not to get too nerdy in TV numbers.
Hey, that's
but
what we do.
612,000 viewers. That was more on Saturday than Premier League football with a Manchester City game. That was more than Texas Tech BYU football. That was more than Northwestern Nebraska football. So the volleyball team outdrew the football team as viewership, and it almost equaled the Wisconsin Badger game for viewership as well earlier in the day against Illinois. So it was a sight to be seen. I wish a couple of net violations didn't happen that late in the match, or we might be talking about a different outcome. True. But they happened, and it went the way it did. And I'll say this: the Badgers will be playing Minnesota this weekend, and guess what? It follows, Ahman. It follows NFL football on Fox. So it's Packers Vikings, and then it's Gophers Badgers for the country. So that's going to be another big moment for the sport, and what.
Yes.
If it succeeds there, it could even start to ascend more than it already has.
I get Monday Night Volleyball, baby.
Oh my God!
Look, hey.
I'm calling it right now.
Why not?
Monday Night Volleyball. Here we go. We got some
it.
professional leagues popping up here. I know around Nebraska, there's a professional team out of Omaha, the Supernovas. So that is something growing here in the state of Nebraska. I say around the country too. So real quick to the chat, we got BR Facial. We got Dustin from LinkedIn. And we got everybody else. It's from Twitch. Eeyore, he's in the house here today. And the Bear Fan wants to know, Rico, what is your Twitter? The Bear Fan does a lot of charity fundraising, and he wants to promote anybody that has a nonprofit out there. And BR Facial says volleyball is going to go start playing in the Pinnacle Arena, John. So, John, that's our basketball. That's another arena that we have here on campus, near campus. It's not on campus, but near campus, where either volleyball goes play or basketball, men's and women's, go play there as well.
Yeah, that'd be. I mean, they could easily go to the Pinnacle Bank.
Yeah,
and fill that up too.
It's about 16,000 in there, so something like that. So they'd be able to fill that no problem.
Yeah.
But I think they're gonna stick in the Devaney for quite some time. They added about 400 plus seats over the summer, so standing room only actually got smaller. They added some more seats, so that was the first time that they eclipsed 9,000 fans in there. And I know John Cook afterwards, he thought it was a fake number. He's like, that must have been a misprint. And he goes, I think the fire marshal's going to come talk to us on Monday.
Oh man, he had some fun after that. He threw.
He was having a lot of fun. He is soaking in every single moment this year, and it's got some people worried, but I think he's just enjoying. I think he's just enjoying the time that he has.
They're worried that he's going to retire.
Yeah, people are scared because he's soaking in everything like before.
We've kind of noticed foreshadowing there.
We've kind of noticed like he's a little more smiley, a little more talkative when he comes into post-game press.
Hold up, you said he's a little more smiley.
Exactly.
I respect the guy a lot. I respect his coaching, but every time you see him, you don't know if they winning or losing.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. But then again,
like Coach Osborne. His face is like, you're like, what's going on? Are we losing?
But he's been a lot more smiley and joking around with us in the post game pressers and everything. But we have yet to see him after a loss, so we still don't know.
That's where he's going.
That's funny that you say he's more smiley, because I think, like what Ahman said, like anybody who's tuned into a Nebraska match and they've shown Cook on the sidelines, you're like, oh, he's upset about something.
Yeah, they must have lost the first set. Like, no, they won 25-12. Like,
you got a strong jaw. That jaw line is straight. He's like
they could hit every attack. Like they could get every kill, not miss a single serve, and you'd still look at him and he'd be. Just
exactly. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, as a player, I'd be like, I wouldn't even ask how I'm doing. I just like play. I'm like, no, coach, I'm good. I don't need to ask you nothing.
But that Nebraska-Wisconsin match was the loudest I've ever heard any, and that was the most stressed / most fun that I've had at a volleyball match in quite some time. Like it had me on the edge of my seat the entire time. It was great, high level volleyball. It's the first time I've been able to see Wisconsin live, and they are all that they're cracked at. Like if that isn't the national championship match, I'd be surprised.
Right?
God, can you imagine if we had a match like that for the national champ? Well, we did a couple of years ago, but
basically. Yeah.
So real quick, are you going to come to Madison? Because if you're not, you should tell your bosses hey, look at the viewership. Look at who cares about the sport right now. Because if we were sending someone to football to Madison, if we're sending football all around the country, why don't we send it to Madison? Because it's the same thing.
I don't know if I'll be able to, because it's going to be on Black Friday, and we've got our pre-game, post-game with Nebraska, Iowa that day. It's like noon kickoff.
Too many things.
It'd be, there's a lot of stuff going on that day.
Yeah. Nice. So I got Dustin. I mentioned, he said, coming from the shadows of Lambeau Field and Lakeland up in Wisconsin. So he's right there between about that 45-minute drive I used to track down every day for work there in Green Bay. And then BR Facial says Belichick vibes with Coach Cook there. So Belichick. Same thing with Bill Belichick. I'm like, if there is a happy moment with that dude, I will pay to see it. I just want to know as a player, any guy.
Well, it's funny because like John Cook's players say he's hilarious. He's a jokester, and the same thing with Belichick. All the players are like, dude, he's hilarious. Like
Tom Osborne was like all the time. Yeah, he was a jokester. He was a jokester, and he would laugh at himself a lot. He would laugh at himself a whole lot. So.
You just need to be within the circle.
Yes,
outside of the game hours, and then you see those things, right?
These it's like I got referred to as this one day this year, since I'm a teacher now. One of my students I saw out, they was like, "Oh my God, it's so weird seeing you not in class today." It's like, what do you do? Like, what do you do outside of class? I'm like, what? I got a life. I thought I was in a movie. I was like, wait a minute, I've seen this line before. Oh my God, when you see your teacher not in school, it's like, oh my God, a dog is walking on his hind legs. I'm like, hold up, time out. I was like, am I living a movie right now? One of my students said that to me. I was like, I didn't know how to feel about that. I was like, I wanted to laugh, but I'm like, hold up.
You don't live in the
I'm
school?
more cooler than huh?
They were like, you don't live in the school?
Right. I was like, oh, you trying to be funny, huh? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get you watch on this pop quiz. Well, I'm gonna hit you, tear your ass up. Oh man, but shoot, real quick to move on. Our team, so esports, we have had a tough. I say last week was a tough week, and then this week is starting off tough. Last week we had Ohio State really good in Overwatch, Smash, Rocket League, Valorant, but we fought, we battled, and this week we're starting off with Michigan. They got a squad too, and Overwatch we just got nipped at the bud there on Monday, and then last night was Rocket League. I believe we lost there, and tonight is Smash. So we're having a rough go at it. It's still early in the season though. Still got a lot of games. This, like I mentioned, this season goes till the end of February, and then in the championship weekend will be sometime in March at Ohio State's campus at their esports facility there. So if we qualify, we'll definitely land, party that thing up, get on a bus. Then I'm gonna be telling the story of me and some of my players and how that drive went from on the I-80 all the way to Columbus. That's gonna be. I'm excited. I know we're gonna get there. I know we're gonna do it though. And John, you said you saw the Taylor Swift movie?
I went to the Taylor Swift movie.
How was that?
It was awesome. It was 3 hours long.
3 hours?
Ooh. 3 hours. It's just a concert. Obviously it's a concert movie. I enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it overall.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see it on every little advertisement when I pull up my Marcus Cinema app.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they definitely promoting the heck out of that. So
she's made over $100 million. I think the opening weekend was about 100 million. So it's like 130 or 150-ish million dollars just domestically.
Go Tay-Tay.
And they're talking about how she's changing. Guys, we might see the way movies are released differently in the future because of this movie, because she cut out the studio. So usually you make a movie, you give it to the studios partner with the theaters. And she said, why are you taking 70% of the money? No.
Right.
Boom.
Oh,
Goodbye.
wow. That much? Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm doing it on my own too.
I'll pay for it. I think it costs $15 million. She's made 130 million back already. And she just said, no, you AMC, we'll in the local theaters, we'll split it. We'll all get more money. And so that, I mean, for people with a big fan base and people with a lot of money, they can now partner with other actors and kind of cut out the studios if they want.
Cut out the middleman.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
studios are going to be in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Get your money, Tay-Tay. Get your money.
Was anybody singing and dancing in the theater?
Yeah, the lady next to me the whole time.
Did she know every word? Did she know every word?
Yeah, I was impressed. Okay. Like she didn't miss it, and she actually sounded pretty good.
There you go.
My daughter and her friend, "Shake It Off" was by far the most danced to song.
Of course,
theater.
Of course.
Yeah. It was amazing. It's like everything changed, and like, oh, "Shake It Off," everybody's up dancing.
Got it.
Yeah,
we got it. Yeah, you can't beat that. That's a
Taylor Swift can have a 3-hour movie, but Avengers Endgame can't. Ridiculous.
and Batman, Justice
They
League
said,
can't
oh,
either.
they said,
Warner
oh,
Brothers,
3
what's
hours
wrong
is
with
too
you?
long.
What's wrong with you,
go
Warner
down to
Brothers? Like, come on,
212.
man.
Ridiculous.
Come on, man. Hey, no, I'm just kidding. I still want Batman movies.
I always thought the Avenger movies didn't feel like 3 hours.
It didn't. No, they were so well written and well acted that I was
just
looking
kept
at
going to the
like,
next and the next and the next, and it was always
Mhm.
action and action and action. It was awesome.
That was 3.5 hours. Okay, all right. We got Master says same thing that happened with music is starting to happen in the movie industry. Independent distributors, gotta make that money. Keep all your money.
Cash.
Cash.
And now everyone's going to be able to make movies in 5 years with AI. So, just saying,
we're gonna make our own movie. Us three right here.
We could easily, probably.
Perfect.
All right. Let's get on to a quick hit news bite. Let's get you off first. It's John.
Yeah.
I think I got yours up here.
All right, let me bring mine up too.
Hold up.
Okay.
Oh, is it Matt? Yeah, you got yours up, right?
Yeah. So, one of the things I'm into is trading cards. And there was a big release a couple of months ago through Magic the Gathering and Lord of the Rings, right? Where they had like this exclusive 1-of-1 ring card that some guy found in a pack, sold it to Post Malone for $2.5 million. Disney Lorcana recently came out. That was big too. So like these non-sports trading cards are really starting to catch wind. And here's the latest I found from Marvel and Hasbro teaming up to bring Marvel characters and stories to Magic the Gathering. So it's a multi-year, multi-set. I think it starts in 2025. But basically, you're going to start to see some of these Marvel cards intertwined with Magic the Gathering. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to look or what it's going to be like exactly. And I don't think they know either. But I'll tell you what, when this comes out, you are going to have another big swell of like everyone's going to want it. I can tell this has got Marvel and they're going to have exclusive limited cards and it's going to be cool and it's going to have another big following right away. And I love that more partnerships like this outside of sports are happening because it's fun. I'll tell you what, I bought a box of Lord of the Rings looking for that 1-of-1 card because it's fun. It's like a chase. And quite frankly, I got mine delivered a day after it was found, so I haven't opened it yet. But
you're like a big kid on Christmas right now.
Yeah,
can't wait.
But I'm telling you guys, this is going to be cool. Like, how cool would it be to get like I don't know, if you consider it a rookie card of whomever.
The first time,
this
see those pages.
This isn't a very good commercial. It's just them looking at comic books. And,
gotcha. It's kind of,
but they can get so creative. I'm excited to see what it looks like, really, and I know it's going to have a lot of hype when it comes out.
Yeah, because you go to places like PAX or even DreamHack. I know PAX for sure. They have all the role-playing games that you got to roll the dice, the D&D action, and so Magic is over there too, and they have like. I say classic, figures that get made and they're small. Obviously, the detail is really cool and they do different colors, different variations of them. And so this is a variation. And part, like you said, having Marvel, and that's part of, and they're part of Disney. So you already know how they know how to do things in terms of fun stuff like this. So this is going to definitely hit a lot of people in the right area in terms of their pocketbook.
This is it's gonna be crazy with not only like the combination of Marvel and Magic. You're gonna have Magic fan, like I don't know how many, like you'll have people who are Magic the Gathering fans who aren't or haven't been Marvel fans who find these and like, oh, this looks really cool. Let me research this a little bit more. Maybe they start getting into comic books. They start getting into Marvel. You'll have a bunch of Marvel fans who want to get the cards. Maybe they have them. They see a couple other Magic the Gathering cards and they're like, oh, you know what? This is actually kind of interesting. Let me get this. So you're gonna possibly there's a probability that you grow both fan bases with this.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. This will be fun. This is I said Marvel and Disney, they know what they're doing. And I have this as a variation. That means Marvel, that means all the characters with the 30, 40 heroes and another 130, 40 villains and all that we've seen all through the Infinity Gauntlet saga. So it's going to be big.
And I always say this when it comes to trading cards. I'm telling you, man, NBA 2K, I know, like, if you just put a 1-of-1 Kobe in there, doesn't need to, they could sell so many more games that they already are selling just by including physical cards.
True. Marvel did this once before in the late 90s and early 2000s and was called Overpowered.
Oh, okay.
There. So and then also he added in Magic is turning into Fortnite.
Is that good or bad?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, is that good or bad?
Is that a good or bad thing? That's a good
Fortnite
question.
has gotten really interesting. I would always, played Fortnite early, and I was like, if it wasn't for the building, I think I'd be pretty good at this game. And now there's parts where you don't have to build, but I still haven't gone back to it.
And I get a win every time I play now.
Yeah, I just haven't gone back to it, but now they have all these different skins, and you could be Spider-Man, and you could be. There's a bunch of anime characters. You get. Is Batman in there yet? I'm sure
Batman's been in there. He's been in there since like season 1 or 3.
Yeah, like they've got all of these
versions of Batman
skins in there, so you could be.
John Wick is in there.
Yeah, you could do a Kamehameha. You could do a Kamehameha as Batman. Like that's what they're at right now.
Right. Yep. So they're doing it big. And so speaking of like video game characters, Marvel characters or DC characters. So Spider-Man 2 came out last week and they got a lot of talk. Myself and Rico is going to be covering some fun things, interesting, fun things. So I'm covering what they did for Chadwick Boseman. So if you go into the game and it's Marvel. So they in the game, obviously, if you played all the Spider-Mans, let's just set this up. You played all the Spider-Mans, 1 with Peter Parker, 2 with Miles Morales, and now this third one with both of the characters in there. They have little, you could go around New York City and you could see the Avengers Tower. You could see where Doctor Strange and his house is at in the game. And then now what they've done, if you find a spot, I'll run the video here where they basically did a salute to this guy to my right. On my shoulder here, protecting my backside here. Chadwick Boseman. So if you watch the video here, you go to the little extend that little doorway there and hit the triangle button because it's on PlayStation 5 and Wakanda Forever. Woo! I don't know if that scream and yell is part of it, but I was like, oh, that's pretty neat.
Who's screaming in the background?
I don't know.
Some random person.
So I don't know if there's a person playing like off their stream or something. I don't know, but maybe the yell and scream goes with it. But I think that was pretty cool. It did homage to Chadwick Boseman because the guy, if you remember his story, from the time he became Black Panther and he played Jackie Robinson, he played James Brown, and then for Thurgood Marshall, the judge, he had been fighting terminal stage 4 cancer. So for almost 10 years or something like that. And you never, as the public, we never knew, but as obviously close family and friends, and maybe some of the coworkers that was on set with him when he was shooting the Marvel movies and his scenes, the whole time he was fighting it. So I think that's a big salute and a big gesture by Insomniac to do that in the game and to pay homage to a guy that not only just in the video game world, but just everywhere where I think he brought a lot of change in for everybody. So big ups to Insomniac for that. Good job. All right, Mr. Rico.
I looked this up because I thought I saw it somewhere. This kind of goes back to what yours is. So if you're Miles Morales in the game, you can do the Wakanda Forever on there. But if you're Peter Parker, you can't.
Oh, really?
Don't know why. They don't know why. Nobody knows why.
Is it because
I don't know. Yeah, only Miles can do it though.
Okay.
Interesting. Because remember, it was a big thing when in one of the Black Panthers that none of the Avengers showed up to his funeral. I think it was the second one.
It was the second one.
That was a question. That was a question that was arose from that.
Yeah, everybody's like, why
Tony Stark wasn't? Oh, Tony Stark was dead.
Well, he was dead. Yeah, but everybody's like, why isn't anybody
Thor, there? He could have been there. Well, Thor was depressed. Captain America could have been there.
No, Thor's not depressed anymore at that point, but he's traveling with the Guardians. Like they came up with all these reasons. So like, well, this person's doing this, he's doing this. They're like, well, why wasn't Hulk there? Like he's not doing anything. He's just there on Earth. You're like, whatever. But yeah, he didn't show up. But what's your story here? What you got? Yeah, for my Spider-Man story, we all know that Miles Morales is Puerto Rican, or at least you should if you played 100%. The Spider-Man Miles Morales version. So Miles Morales is Puerto Rican. In the game, they have the Puerto Rican flag. It's a big point to kind of accentuate his Puerto Rican heritage and make it known that he is, and they're very proud people. We are very proud people. Yep. But in his apartment, when you walk in, they messed up the flag. And it is the Cuban flag that is hanging in his apartment. And outside on the street, they have, the American flag. And then it's supposed to be the Puerto Rican flag, but it's the Cuban flag hanging up out there as well. People brought this to the attention of Insomniac, and they are going about changing it, making it the Puerto Rican flag, because it is like, it's not first, it's kind of a big deal because Miles Morales is Puerto Rican, and if you're a Puerto Rican person such as myself, and you love Miles Morales, not only because he's Spider-Man, but because he is Puerto Rican such as myself, it's a big deal to have that representation in the game. So Insomniac is working on fixing it, but it's kind of weird because they have that Cuban flag in his apartment and outside, but later in the game you can see it on here. Those suits have the Puerto Rican flag, the right colors, on his chest, on his Spidey suit. So
that's a memo that was missed.
So they got that right, but they just mixed up the colors in his apartment and out on the streets.
All right, what you got, John?
Okay, so I can totally, I mean, listen, I know where you're coming from, but I can totally understand what happened here. So here is the Cuban flag, if everybody's watching on Twitch. And here is, oops, wrong button. And here is Puerto Rico. So it's basically where the red is, there's blue on Cuba, and where the blue triangle is, there's red on Cuba.
Right.
So they just looked, somebody was just like, colors, they look the same.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you put up the Cuban flag, I got this. Hold on. Here, hold on.
Put up the Cuban flag? Okay, hold on.
Yeah, put up the Cuban flag. And then look at my screen.
Keep it there. Keep it moving. Don't move it. There you go.
There it is.
It's literally just opposite.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, you can't mess that up.
No.
Can't mess that up.
It's very important.
Very, very important. That's
my question is, why the heck did they make the flags look the same? When they had the flag meeting, were they not like?
I don't know who had it first. I don't know what happened, but Puerto Rico is the superior flag. That's just
only
a fact.
John.
When they had the flag meeting, were they like, hey, just steal Puerto Ricos?
I don't think they going to meet with each other.
Thieves.
Just change the colors.
I don't think they're going to meet with one another.
Or was Puerto Rico like, just steal Cubas?
Oh, nah, Puerto Rico definitly had it first. That's what we're going with.
Yeah, I can't. Don't quiz me on that right now. I don't know what country was. I
can Google it.
That's what I'm googling it right now.
First. I can't Google it. Google it.
Dang it! The Cuban flag was designed in 1849 by Narciso Lopez. The design for the Puerto Rican flag was adopted by a committee of exiles living in New York during the mid 1890s.
Oh, so it was about 1849.
Yeah, it's about 39 years or whatever, 40 years later.
Okay, so Puerto Rico flag was created first. Okay. Make sure we have that now, right?
Can you imagine some graphic designer nowadays? They're like, hey, we need you to create something. Hold on, let me look at something else. I'll change the colors.
Let me
you know
just
what
take
I mean?
this color and this color and switch them.
This ain't Fortnite where you gonna have multiple colors of costume. No, this is the flag of a heritage of a culture. Can't
Makes sense to me.
Right.
Puerto Rico is still superior.
Can't mess with that. Cannot mess with that. All right, thank you for sharing. Great conversation there. Let's head over to this or that this week.
This or that.
All right. So it's Halloween. It's my favorite month of the year. Y'all know this. Everybody in the stream knows
You're a weirdo who likes scary movies.
Oh, I forgot to put that up. Sorry. Oh, that's an old one. What? That's last week's. Nope. I thought I edited that. Oh my God, I'm getting so
It's
old.
Okay. We're fine.
All right, where we go? Here we go. Boom and boom. This or that. All right, here we go. First one up. John, you got it, or you want me to click it?
Yeah, hold on. So is it the amnesia one, or we?
Yep. Okay. Yep, we're in the right one. All right. I'll click it for you. There you go.
Okay. Amnesia, The Dark Descent, or Outlast is the question. Which is scarier?
Yeah, which game? Because they're both horror games, so obviously you got to choose one. Outlast is a isolation type game, so you're like in this either a house or a cave, and you got monsters that obviously don't want you in their area.
Okay, so you're in a house or a cave with monsters on Outlast. Okay. How about Dark Descent?
What's the Dark Descent?
Dark Descent. I picked this game. I haven't played this game a whole lot, so
I've got a first-person survival horror game about immersion, discovery, and living through a nightmare.
There you go. Boom.
Ooh.
Yes. So both of them are similar. Outlast is also a survival game.
I might go with Outlast because you know, with my overactive imagination, if I'm in a house or a cave or whatever, I'll be sitting there in my house playing the game, and I'll just be like, I also have walls and a door. What if there's a monster over here? So, yeah, I think I'll go with Outlast. A little more realistic.
What about you, Ahman? Well, I was gonna say I put it into Google, and there's a Steam forum that asks which is scarier, Amnesia: The Dark Descent or Outlast. And user Camel IK says Amnesia is scarier than Outlast due to the fact the play style, you have to hide from the baddies, do not look at them. So I'm going to go with what that user said on the forum. I'm going to pick the Dark Descent.
Ooh, I'm going to pick Dark Descent too. I always saw that game. Never got a chance to get around and play it. I just thought I'd throw it up here and check it out. Now I'm going to play it because it is right up my alley. I need stuff that scares me in the horror category. Because last night was probably one movie I watched. New movie. What was the name of it? Dang it, it'll pop back in my head. It was creepy. It was Cobweb. It was on Hulu or Prime Video for $3. And I was like, oh, it's $3. It's cheaper than the usual ones, but it's worth its value in gold right there.
Oh, Cobweb.
You need to check out Cobweb. So right. I got Amnesia: The Dark Descent. That's for me. All right, next one up here, John. This games I know. These next games I know.
Okay, Resident Evil or Silent Hill.
I'm gonna go real quick. Resident Evil. That's just my classic one. I played both. I do like Silent Hill games and movies, but Resident just is more of a nostalgia thing. Me and my brother started playing it, and we're screaming like little babies in some of the jump scare scenes on the original when the graphics were. We did not know any better. They were subpar, but now the graphics are awesome. And they got VR too. The VR is amazing on Biohazard. So Resident Evil for me. What you got? Everybody else. Rico, John.
I think I Googled like images to try to figure out which one's scarier. Silent Hill looks freaking freaky.
So they got the craziest monsters, though. I'll say that.
Pyramid Head is in Silent Hill.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Silent
crazy,
Hill.
Almost like Hellraiser-esque.
Yeah.
Monsters. Or I learned about Lovecraft and the artwork he uses. The writer, he wrote Lovecraft Country, the HBO show that was on a few years ago. And so he has his version of scary baddie monsters. And so it's the Lovecraftian version of that Silent Hill monsters. They are heads, big claws, and monsters, tentacles everywhere.
Yeah.
They got those mouth where it's nothing but teeth when they open their mouth, things like that. So
yeah, Silent Hill for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Resident Evil, kind of like the same with you. It's a little more nostalgic. I remember when Resident Evil came out on DVD, I was 8 or 9 years old, and we went and watched it. Like my whole family, we watched it. It's like, oh, this new movie. Let's watch this movie. And terrible idea for an 8 or 9 year old to watch Resident Evil. I was terrified, but also love all the movies. Love all of them. They're so great. Mia Jovovich, love her also. So I'm gonna go with Resident Evil.
Yes, indeed. Yep, that was your horror journey right there.
Yeah, that was like the third horror movie I ever watched. The first horror movie I ever watched was what is it called? Something Lake. Placid Lake. Lake Placid.
Ooh, Lake Placid.
Oh, I remember that.
Yes.
And I buried it. I had my head buried in my mom's shoulder, like I couldn't watch it.
A giant crocodile? That's
Lake Placid? Or crocodile. They're both their cousins.
Terrified me.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not walking in a lake that time.
No, but now I love alligators and crocodiles, so we're fine.
Yeah. As long as they're not 80 feet long.
Exactly.
Next one up. I got the next one up, John. Tell me what's going on here. What do you mean by haunted house settings for those who are not watching this, or abandoned asylum/prison settings?
So a lot of horror games, like we just talked about, Outlast, Amnesia, Dark Descent. It's always set. I know Fear. It was a game. It had 1, 2, 3 of them, and it was either set in an abandoned building or insane asylum or prison or old house. So for Resident Evil, most of those are set in a house. We got to go in and go upstairs, downstairs, into the basement, find a trapdoor, get out, whatever. So what is your setting if you had to choose for a game?
Neither.
True, because it's horror. It's like, wait a minute, time out. Why we got to do this?
Can I just be in a field or something?
Can
with
we just
daisies
blow the
and
house
rainbows?
up? Can we going in to fight the monster? Can you know what? Can we just nuke it? Can we do an air strike?
You know how much easier this would be if you just blew it up?
Hey, I know people in the military. We could do a quick air strike. Let's go.
I would go. Well, I wouldn't go with, but abandoned asylum and prison. I feel like it's a little scarier, just because there's going to be a lot more areas. It's going to be larger. In some of those places, there's more tools for torture and all of these crazy things that might be happening. So, and you'll have the screams of the tortured souls and all this stuff in there. So I think I wouldn't go, but would go with that.
I agree with Rico, Ahman. I think that's a good point. I was going to go with haunted house simply because I thought you could have a better variety of settings. Like if I think of a prison or an asylum, I think, well, there's cells and it kind of looks the same.
You done.
But you make a great point. Like with a haunted house, it's usually somebody got murdered, right? With the asylum, there are some people who are mentally unstable that are now in charge. So I think the asylum/prison might be the way to go.
You know what's to kind of add on to how things kind of look the same and it's all cells. That's also the terrifying part, because if you get lost, it all looks the same.
Yeah, sure.
True.
Yeah, good point.
That means you don't know how to get out of a maze, like in The Shining or something like that. The bushes,
hard pass.
So I'm gonna go house, because you know what? I could just jump out the window, walk out the front door. I'm out.
He's like, walks in, nope, walks out.
Like, did you just see that? I'll meet y'all in the car. You know what? I'm gonna start jogging. Just let me know, because I'm a full sprint eventually. Just so y'all know. So, Eeyore says neither, because what are the chances that how games play would really happen in one of those settings?
He said, "Let's hide behind the wall of chainsaws."
Right. That's a classic commercial. I love that commercial.
Head for the cemetery.
I'm like, what are the writers thinking? Next one, John. What are the writers thinking for these characters? Come on, give them some more common sense than some of the movies I've seen. All right, next one's up.
This one seems to me like an easier one: Alone in the Dark or group survival horror. Now, you just talked about the bad decisions that sometimes in horror movies people make. So I'm still going to go with group, because I would not want to be alone in the dark in a horror setting. Are you kidding me? That to me is like the scariest outcome.
Yeah, your winning percentage goes up when you have multiple people with you.
Yeah, you got a team. Yeah,
your survival percentage goes up because there's more people that can go before you.
True. That's cold-blooded, but true. Cold-blooded, but true.
It's kind of like in a bear attack, right? Just don't be the slowest person.
Exactly.
And your chances of survival increase.
Yeah. I don't have to be faster than the killer. I just gotta be faster than you. Exactly. I would go with group, because there's somebody that I can grab onto when I get scared, and so somebody that can help me fight off a bad guy. Even though we probably won't win regardless. But alone in the dark, nah. Hard pass.
Hard pass. I'm gonna go group of survival too. I'm gonna make sure everybody survives. I'm not just gonna try to leave somebody behind. I'm a team player here. If you big enough, if you're fun size, you're going on my back, and I'm gonna carry somebody if I have to. If you gotta be fun size though, if you can't be like the extra large Snicker bars that we're gonna be handed out next Tuesday.
Right.
So
I'm going to your house.
Exactly. I'm a big candy bar house. Big ones. All right. Last one here, then we move on to games of the week, fellas.
Kids must love the full man, yours. Okay. Limited resources and inventory management, or ample resources with challenging enemies.
So if you played Resident Evil, you know what I'm talking about. You played Silent Hill, you know what I'm talking about. You gotta ration when you shoot things. You gotta all right, I can only put 3 shots into this one monster. The one that the slicker or something that climbs on the wall in Resident Evil that has the tongue that comes out. Yep. He's about a 3, maybe 4 shot guy. Because if not, you're gonna be. And then you got make bullets too, in Resident Evil, and I think Silent Hill. So they make you.
You make your bullets.
You have to make your shotgun bullets sometimes, or bullet piercing bullets.
That's ridiculous.
I'm sorry, pierced armor bullets. You might have to make them sometimes. You got to become a craftsman within the game.
Ridiculous.
It makes that brings the learning curve, because
you don't have the machinery to make a bullet.
You don't. It's a game. They'll give you the machinery.
You know what I'm imagining?
You do it with the machine. You just throw it all together.
You know what it is? You have all the stuff, and your person just goes.
Yep.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I imagine like, okay, time out from playing the main game, and you're sitting at a table and you're like, press A to screw on the top. I don't know how you make a bullet.
Yeah.
Like, I'm imagining like a scene where you have to
it just says it's just real easy. All it does is say if you have this in inventory and this item, you just press the A button and it merges.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. You don't have to go to a bullet shop, the smith, and come
You're
to
like, I have gunpowder and I have metal. Bullets. There we go.
On the guy in Infinity War that's in the sky in the one universe where he created Thor's hammer. You don't have to go no place like that. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
I feel like that'd be more fun.
Something like that.
Well, I'll start, guys. I want the ample
give me all the bullets and guns,
ample resources
that I can handle.
Yeah. I'm not talented enough to pick and choose how I'm going to kill somebody. I need all of the bullets.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I say I'm just going to shoot and keep shooting, kind of like in that scene in Predator, where they knew something was there and just kept shooting.
Mm-hmm.
That's what me. I'm gonna just and get in and reload me up so I can keep shooting again. Make sure that thing does not walk or talk, rip my spine cavity out of my body at the end of the movie. Like, God bless America.
Yeah.
There.
Normally, I would go with ample resources with more challenging enemies, but The Last of Us is like my favorite games. And again, it's limited resources. You got to figure out how to kill some things, sneak up on a lot of things, and save your bullets because you know you're going to have a challenging enemy at some point. So I'll go with limited resources just because it'd be a little bit more fun.
I mean, it's a learning curve, right? It gives you have to think more than just trying to survive about that. You be like, all right, how many bullets do I have? How much do I have that gunpowder to make that shotgun shell? Stuff like that.
The problem for me is if you give me ample resources, I will find a spot when I'm fighting a boss where he can't get to me, and I will keep shooting. And I'm like, I know there's a way you're supposed to beat this person. I'm not doing that.
No, you just learn the pattern. You know,
don't learn the pattern. Find a spot where he or she can't get to you, like the spot. So before you go in there, you lose like 2 times, and then you find out when you open the door, you can stand in the door and still see them. And then you just stay there and you take care of business.
What is a ghost?
Well, then the resources don't matter if it's a ghost.
Well, yeah, ER says, wait, are there save files?
Yeah, because then you just reload right outside the door and you do what I said.
Yeah. There's always a
big brain thinking.
Oh, big brain thinking. All right, big brain thinker. We're headed over to games of the week now. Game releases.
Release the games. It's time for the game releases. Game releases.
All right. We got, I think it was John is up first.
Let me go first.
What a fun game. The movie too. This brings back memories. So here we go, John.
I'm just talking about ghosts. How about Ghostbusters, Rise of the Ghost Lord, the full containment VR edition that is coming out tomorrow. So as we watch this video here, I'll tell you a little bit about it. So the reason I pick this and the reason or the way I pick these video games is I just look at whatever one looks the coolest to me. And as you notice in the video right here, it's in VR. And I was like, ooh, fighting ghosts in VR seems kind of cool. So you can team up with friends. This is from the PlayStation Store website. They call it the most anticipated VR game for 2023.
Looks good. So
but
far.
You can team up with friends and become a Ghostbuster, right? So you've got 4 equipment skins, 10 additional player avatars, Slimer Hunt feature, and collectible. I'm not sure what that means. But basically you go around, you fight ghosts and you do it in VR. And when I saw those 2 things, I was like, well, that sounds like a pretty fun combination.
Nice.
I mean, I've never really had a VR experience like this or really any, but
that means you got to figure it out. I
think it sounds amazing. And not to get too weird, but part of the reason my left eye doesn't work well. And so when I get in VR, it's weird. Like it doesn't, I don't think it really immerses me like it's supposed to.
So your view is a little different.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
What do you guys think of this?
I like it. The graphics look good. I've played plenty of Ghostbuster Ghostbuster games from the movies, and they got the the proton pack beam coming out on point. And all the artwork, really, it seemed like every game almost is similar to itself. So the artwork from the first Ghostbusters game I played is not much different than this VR artwork and graphics. So that means whoever did it the first time did it right, because everybody else is pulling and copying it pretty much. So good job, keep it up. And then VR is definitely experienced now, where you actually physically got to get a little into it, know how to aim with that proton pack. Then you can't laugh at Egon and all those other guys, Bill Murray, when they're trying to go back. You thought it was that. Oh, Rico, you
shout out, by the way, to the Ghostbusters franchise for staying relevant for so long.
Yes,
they've done a great job.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They're doing the thing there.
That is cool how they took the ghosts and put the VR stuff on them. That's cool.
Yeah,
clever.
Very smart. They got movies coming out still, and now I got another game coming out, because I think I just downloaded one or bought one last year. Was on console, which
I'll say Eeyore says it's Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed.
Right. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's awesome. All right, my game is up next, and I picked out a game that I kind of did John's take, where you just kind of look at the names and go from there. But this one, I was like, it said 3 minutes to 8, and I'm like, let's try this one out here. So we got 3 minutes to 8 here. Let me hit play, turn the volume up a little bit. And so in this game here, 3 minutes to 8, it's the mysterious, futuristic pixel art world of an upcoming adventure game where you try to escape certain death. So every the time that you have a life, you're trying to escape being basically murdered or killed in some way. So it's always 3 minutes to your death, or 2 minutes, or whatever. I'm like, man, you got to be on your toes in this game.
Wait, is every game like 3 minutes long? Like, how's this work? Sorry.
That's what I mean. I don't think it's that, but it's like I was like, okay, I see what you're doing here.
I wonder how it works. Like,
all right, hold on.
Does it just reload you, and you have to try to figure out what's going on and try to stop yourself from dying?
Here we go. That description didn't have a whole lot of information for me. Here we go. Found another one. So it says set in the future. It is a mind-bending. We know that part of it. All right, that breaks the mold. Okay, we know that. The protagonist is destined to meet their demise at 7:57. So no matter what, your whole point is to try to not die at 8 o'clock. So it's always 3 minutes to 8. So you got to avoid dying during this whole game, basically. Very simple. I like this because simpleness. Just tells you what you need to do. Survive. It takes 3 minutes to survive. So if you survive that, again, I'm not sure if the game's over. I think that would suck.
I love the concept of this and what you're reading, and to me, and then I saw the graphics that you're showing us.
Yeah. And
I was like, oh, if this was like a big budget game, this whole concept, I think, would be really fun. Like, this is a movie. This to me is a series. Like, they could go deep with this thing. But then I look at the graphics and it looks like
no, it's pixel art graphics, as it said. So graphics are not stellar, but give you some adventures, because now you got to think very on your toes, obviously, because you only got 3 minutes to elude these folks. So I'm pretty sure it ramps up the hardness to the game to where you got to survive. Different things got to come. They're gonna throw different things at you to try to stay alive every time you play this game. I'm pretty sure it's not just as simple as it describes as surviving in 3 minutes before
what time it starts at. Like, does it start at like 7? And
I think it probably starts at 7:57, like it says.
But then that's when you're supposed to die. I wonder, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it starts like however long before, but maybe it's one of those where every time you do something, every time you die a certain way, you're like, oh, let me try and do it a different way. Let me not go home, because then this guy won't shoot me in the chest. So you don't go home and you're still out. And then
or you beat him up.
Yeah, and then you get hit by a car or something. You're, okay, well, let me not go down that way. And then you do this. And it just keeps going until you finally figure out a way to avoid all of it. I don't know.
So you gotta have good memory. You gotta have good memory. And then quick on your toes. Because you gotta obviously do backtracking. You're backtracking the whole time.
Got to get all this information, probably.
Exactly.
Interesting.
It's a little diabolical.
I like it. I think it looks
Indie
really
game
unique.
here.
Yeah.
Indie game from Mostly Positive. Or no, the developer is Chaos Monger Studios is the game, indie game here. So check out 3 minutes to 8. See if you're smart enough to survive all this.
I'm telling you, that's a movie or a TV series.
For sure. Oh, I agree with you.
Oh, yeah. Could you imagine watching a movie and it's like every time it's just like, oh, well, this is how it happened. It's like, okay, well, now I can't do this. I can't do that. So let me go do this. And then, oh, I can't do that either. Oh, I have to jump over this area. And if I jump over here, then this happens.
Remember this?
Like,
Remember
that? That'd be cool.
Wait a minute. Last time I went left. Okay, I got to go right. Last time I beat them up, so I can't go that way. So you got.
But if I go right, I have to make sure that I avoid this guy because he has a sword. And if I avoid the guy with the sword, the guy behind him has a gun. And the guy with the gun, this guy's like all this. You're just like slowly going through your brain. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, Rico, you ready for yours?
Sure. The Lord of Rings Return to Moria. Survival crafting set in the 4th age of Middle Earth. You go back to the dwarven homeland of Moria, also known as Khazad-dûm or Dworodelf, in the depths of the mountains of Moria. You go down there, and what it's kind of reminding me of is a much better graphic Minecraft. You're delving down into the mines of Moria and you're trying to rebuild everything, right? You have to collect, stuff, you're mining for weapons, you're building all of these things, but you also have to make sure that you have enough food, have enough water, you don't get too cold or get too hot. You have to take care of yourself. You can play it by yourself. You can play with other people. Again, you can make swords. You can build buildings. You can make magical things. You can find magical things. And at the same time, you have to be careful because when you're mining, making noise in the quiet mines, you can wake up monsters. And they'll come to stop you from doing whatever you're doing.
That's a job. Yeah, that's a job hazard that you don't want.
So it's just this whole thing. Yeah, just this whole thing of mining and building and crafting and trying to stay alive. There, you can go further down, deeper and deeper, but you'll find more vicious monsters as you go further down. And it's just one of these where, crafting, building, smithing, surviving, where you just create this whole world and you can build the buildings, you can build them into the walls, and if you've ever seen The Lord of the Rings, you can try and make it as elaborate as the Mines of Moria was. You can rebuild it how it was, or you can make it completely new.
Oh, RPG time. Creating your character from the bottom up and building whatever
make your own.
Want.
Make your own dwarf and have your friends come join you.
We got to get together on Baldur's Gate. That's what we got to do.
We do.
I don't know how you guys Baldur's Gate, creating your character, how everybody's still playing. You still progressing on that, John? Oh, yeah. John, did you hear me?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Where you at on Baldur's Gate 3?
I'm still trying to figure out how to move around.
So this game kind of reminds me of that. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, no, it does. It totally does. I was thinking the same thing.
You build in your whole, not only your character, but then like Rico said, you can build out a whole little town, a castle, whatever. But you got to obviously be careful. You got to make yourself battle ready to survive and everything.
Like I said, you can make your own tools.
So you got to fight something.
Yeah, uncover magic artifacts. You can get jewels and mine ore to create your weapons. Like it's very I don't know the word I'm looking for. It's just all together. And the word. But I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the dwarves in Lord of the Rings. So this is definitely something that I might have to check out.
No, definitely a fan as well. Misty Mountains. It is something fun.
Plus, I got Gimli's voice. Love Gimli. Love that guy.
Oh, man. All right, now we're wrapping it up with Ahsoka. Let's get on to what's this?
Ahsoka Tano.
What's on screen here?
Row your boat.
What's on
gently up the. Sorry, excuse me. It's time for what's on stream.
Sorry about that. Cut them off there. All right, we're into Ahsoka now. We're in episode 4, part 4. I keep saying episode, but it's part 4. They kind of broke it up that way. So we got into Fallen Jedi, and we're doing it's a lot of flashbacking because of all the Jedi fight lightsaber scenes going on here. So I think that's why you see in the video here they got Anakin and Ewan McGregor, or I can't think of his actual name, but Darth Vader practicing and doing all lightsaber fights. Is just, we're in that area now in Ahsoka where it's getting close to finding General Zahn and Ezra, who's, everybody's kind of like up in the arms about finding them in terms of being somebody to care about, but also at the same time is they're realizing that there's another galaxy out there that's been mentioned since episode 1. So Lord Balin, who is the Sith, along with his apprentice, they're kind of hold ground, getting order around, and to make sure they keep the plans for the Sith and this new galaxy in order. So Ahsoka, Sabine, and General Sadella is doing their best to try to fight against them and not get taken out before they can do their job, basically by protecting the galaxy from, I'll say, going back to where it went. So I know John's got to go, or maybe wants to throw in real quick some of his things.
I was going to say, I'll let you guys tackle this episode. I'm still playing catch up. I don't want any spoilers right now.
Yep.
Thanks. I'll talk to you guys next week.
All right, John. Be safe.
Bye, John.
See you later.
Bye.
Peace. All right, Rico.
Yeah, it was a really interesting episode just because, and like you said, there's more lightsaber fights, and I do love the lightsaber fights. It's still not the same as the lightsaber fights used to be, with all of the intricacies and the swords, or the sabers, flying around, rolling around and everything. It's still very interesting, and really cool to see Ahsoka possibly go all out when she was fighting the Sith Lord that was there protecting the map.
Lord Balin.
Balin. But what was I gonna say? It's what scared me was when their droid, Ahsoka's droid, was fixing the ship, and you see people are in the woods, and I'm like, please don't hurt the robot, please. But then to see him, then to see him fight back, I was like, oh yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, he really is, with his 4 arms, going, doing his thing. And then this whole thing was leading up to it started with it where you kind of knew exactly what was going to happen, where they're talking about, Ahsoka's like, maybe it'd be best if nobody went to this galaxy. Maybe it'd be best if we just figured out a way to get rid of the map and nobody went, so that Thrawn couldn't come back. They couldn't go get him. And you see she's sitting there and she's like, in her eyes, it's like, I kind of want to go see if Ezra's there. I want to go save him. And Ahsoka's like, nah, man, like, can I trust you? Like, are you sure about this? And he's like, oh yeah, you can trust me. So it was all leading up to the end of the episode. And it was like, what is going on? What is happening right now? And then seeing her, get her, not her get back with the other Sith, but fighting her in the woods and kind of going back and forth with her. She showed, in the last episode, she was working on,
because she was just getting
working
back
on the, basically. Yeah, she's getting back into her Jedi training, and she's working on getting, working with the Force, and she's trying to pull the cup or push the cup away from her, and nothing's working. Well, she gets knocked to the ground. She kind of puts her hand up, and I don't know if the Sith like kind of flinched, like waiting for it, or she actually. Yeah, or she actually pushed her a little bit.
Yeah. Good question.
So I don't know if she flinched or if she actually pushed her a little bit.
Right.
But
to me, it was a flinch. It wasn't no force coming out of her, because she can't even move cups on the table right now. But she's getting there. She's working on it. So I think it was more of a reaction, like, okay, I'm about to brace for this force push, so I got to be ready for it. So it was more of that. ER points out Huyang is a few thousand years old, so that's why he got some fighting skills.
Hey,
so
he's
done this a few times. But like I said, I love the battles now. They're getting more into the lightsaber battles, and with Lord Balin and Ahsoka fighting there at the end. Like I said, Ahsoka, like you mentioned, Ahsoka is like, just destroy the thing. But the only caveat to destroying that ball, or the map, which is a ball, is then they won't know and where and find Ezra, who they're all care about and want to know if he's doing good, if he's even alive. So that's where the hesitation of Sabine comes in, when, as you see right here, the fight between Lord Balin and Ahsoka gets down to where then Ahsoka, she tries to grab the ball, she gets burned, she gets injured, the ball falls down, and the map is gone. And then Sabine comes up and that's where the one little weakness she has now. She only has one arm. She's fighting against a Master Jedi right here, and then Sabine gets it, but in the back of her head, she's like, okay, if I destroy this, even though her master said destroy it, she's like, just like her and Captain Sedilla's like, what about Ezra?
She's like,
in her head, she's asking herself that, what about Ezra? We could use this map to find him and make sure he's alive.
And Baylan kind of, uses the Force and finds out that she's really looking for Ezra. And she really wants to see him. So he's kind of like, okay, let me use this to my advantage. And he's like, if you destroy this, you should listen to your master. But if you destroy this, nobody's going to be able to see, and you'll never be able to see if he is even alive. So
I was like, dang.
He got to her, and it was actually very interesting to see that. And just Ahsoka, the care that she has for Sabine, and just like, look, man, like the other Sith comes through, and she's like, oh no, she lost, and then she shows up, she's happy, but the things happen, and I don't know why, she grabs it. That happens when she sees Sabine. I don't know why she doesn't just, when she grabbed it, why didn't she just throw it into the water? I know it was burning her. I know it was burning her, but like instead of just like dropping it on the ground, why not turn around and chuck it into the water?
That, or Sabine should have known, like, Ahsoka has powers, so she can know and feel Ezra's source. As they say, I feel it, because every time you've seen it in a Star Wars movie, when a Master Jedi or any level Jedi would die or would come into existence, they'd be like, and then all the Jedi would feel it. They'd be like, oh, somebody, like when
a disturbance in the Force.
When Darth Vader died, or when Yoda died, everybody was like, wait a minute, something just happened, and then it hit him. Oh, Yoda's dead, and everybody like, how did you know? It's like, I could feel it. So she should have relied on that with Ahsoka and not worry and have the fear in her to not, destroy the map to go find Ezra. Just like, you know what? If she was click in, be like, look, I got a Master Jedi training me. She could tell me what the Force is telling her, where we could find Ezra. So we don't really need this map. So that would have been another mindset. But she's not there yet. That's why she's still in training as a Padawan to get to that Jedi level. Because any other Jedi would be like, that's why Ahsoka was like, destroy the ball. We can still find.
Hey, get rid of it. What are you doing?
Get rid of it. Yeah, break it. Walk on that thing. Do something. Get it out of there. Just don't have the fear that was inside her to not destroy it and then give it to Lord Byron. So great episode here. So we got a lot of little other questions popping up because obviously at the end of this episode we see I'll call the spirit walk of Ahsoka, where she runs into Hayden. I remember the name Hayden Christensen, Darth Vader, and where it pops up and they both basically say hello to each other. So it's
what did he say? I'm surprised. He's like, I'm surprised to see you so soon.
Yeah. He's I'm surprised to see you so soon. So I'm like, interesting.
Like, oh, so her time, her time is coming. Obviously, it's everybody's, but
everybody.
He's like, you are here way earlier than you're supposed to be.
Exactly, because they know. I mean, when you become a Jedi, obviously you can see all, hear all, and for him, it's like, wait a minute, my feeling was telling me that you weren't going to supposed to be here for a long time. So this is kind of an error on maybe your part, but I'm still your master, even though I'm in a ghost state. Yeah, and we're gonna work on some things that I didn't cover.
Look at him. Look at him. He looks great.
So yeah, good to see Hayden Christensen back. And this is the part of all these series. You got Boba Fett, Mandalorian, where you see the characters that started it all in some areas for you. Because I know I was in Seattle. I was in my 20s. I don't know when you saw Hayden Christensen for the first time on the big screen. I think it was Clone Wars, because he was Anakin in the first one. Phantom Menace, but then Clone Wars, that's when he grew up, and then Revenge of the Sith, that's when him and Padme started to be a couple, have their kids, stuff like that. So seeing him back is always good to get him in the fold, and other folks that were a part of like the original storyline into these miniseries now, story arcs of characters that was kind of like spinoffs of the main story. It's always good to see this.
So. I'm really interested in, I haven't finished the series yet, so I'm really interested in watching the next one and seeing how Ahsoka finds her way to this next galaxy, because they destroy it. They had that super gigantic circle that they used to get to the next galaxy, but they had to do all these calculations to make sure that they got the trajectory right. Because as Lord Balin said, if you get this wrong, if you're even off by a little bit, we're going to be lost in the void of whatever.
Yeah,
so so I'm really interested to see how / when, if Ahsoka is able to get herself to the next galaxy to help Sabine, possibly get Ezra and stop them from bringing Thrawn back.
100%. And so some of the extra scenes that you saw there, just some of what we talked about a couple episodes ago on the Gamers Lounge here, where if you go watch Clone Wars, you go watch Rebels, you could kind of connect the dots on some of the stuff that's going on in Ahsoka that you might have missed, and even some of Ahsoka series stuff, cartoon series stuff that was out there on Rebels, on Rebels and Clone Wars. You check that out too. So you could have a fun. You got holidays coming up. Thanksgiving here in about a month.
Yep.
You got a weekend coming up. You can hit it up on Droids, hit some Phantom Menace or Clone Wars.
Might have to.
You might have to do that. I think that would be fun. Get the kids.
Try and get the kids into it.
Couch for you. That would be fun. You'll be doing, as I say, good parenting, bringing the Star Wars into the young Padawan's life.
I'd be like, hey, kids, let's watch some Star Wars. Let Dad show you what he loves and what he grew up with.
And so hopefully this don't hit you with the question: is Dad, why does anybody not go use the bathroom in this movie?
Yeah, don't ask questions. What? They do it in the the little twirl that shows you to the next. Yeah, that's them using the bathroom.
Why you ask me that, Dad? Why they got pajamas on? I'm like, what up? You think those are pajamas? What?
First off, because it's comfortable.
Right. So those are my kids. Hopefully your kids will be different. They were curious in a way. So everyone, I want to say thank you for jumping in. Eeyore, the average historian, BR Facial, Mass Styles, the Bear fan, and anyone else that was lurking in the chat that had not linked in on Twitch, on YouTube. Hope everyone has a great rest of your day. We'll be back here next week, same bat channel, same bat time here on Twitch. We're on YouTube. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're everywhere. Rico, we got to do that. We got to do it everywhere. So have some fun. We're going to have new and more interesting. And next week, it'll be the best thing I saw on social media. So we'll have that funny part, new segment of the TV show here. And then let everybody know, Rico, where they can find you on social.
Well, ladies and gentlemen and everyone else, you can find me on Twitter at Radio Rico AC. That is where I am the most active, talking sports, talking video games, all kinds of new things. I will warn you now, at about 7 p.m. tonight, it is going to be a lot of basketball because the NBA starts up and the New York Knicks take on the Boston Celtics tonight.
Oh, you're a Knicks fan. I can see that now.
To open their season. So I will warn you now, there will be a lot of basketball during this during the next couple of months because of the NBA and because of my New York Knicks. But you can find me on Twitter at Radio Rico AC, on Twitch at Nikki_Flash_ and on Instagram, Enrique Alvarez Clary, all one word. I don't post a lot on the Instagram, but when I do, it's some pretty interesting things. You'll see a lot of volleyball, a lot of sports stuff going on there, and maybe a little bit of my family. So it's going to be an interesting time on social media.
Yes, indeed. So you can find me, thank you, Rico, on Ahman Green 30, all one word. And then the Gamers Lounge, we're on Instagram, that's AG Gamers Lounge. We're on TikTok, Ahman Green's Gamers Lounge, and on YouTube as well, Ahman Green's Gamers Lounge. Check us out on that. Sub, retweet, share, follow, all that stuff that you engage with in the social media space. Please do it when you get to our accounts, and do that for all my account, Rico's account, John's account. John didn't get a chance to mention his, but you can find, if you're following us, you can eventually find John Adias and what he's done, where he's at on Instagram, or where he's at on Twitter. Please do that. And then also Nebraska Esports as well for myself. And that's Nebraska Esports on Instagram, Esports Nebraska on Twitter. So please follow us if you're interested in if you're a young high school athlete and you got some baller skills on Valorant, Smash, or 2K, or Call of Duty, hit me up. All
that guy right there.
We want some good players. We need some good players for next year. Always got to keep the attrition in control. So everyone have a good rest of your day. All right, Rico. I'll see you probably later today if you're there at the studio. Peace out.
Go Knicks New York. Fan. Go New York. Go.
He's a Knicks fan. Did not
Let's
know
go.
That. Oh, my goodness. Knicks fan.
Jalen Brunson, MVP.